Gemara Berochos, Daf Beis Amud Aleph. I'm going to start the Mishnah. Before we start the Mishnah, I want to give a little introduction to this Masechta. So, the Shas, Mishnayos, Gemara, and later Gemara, starts off with Masechtas Berochos. Rebbe, when he made the Mishnayos, chose to start the Gemara's Masechtas Berochos. First, let's see what's inside this Masechtas Berochos. So, Masechtas Berochos mainly deals with the laws of Shema, davening, tefillos, and brachos and blessings. And mainly a few main halachas, a few main laws. The laws of Shema and the brachos, which we say before and after Shema. The second thing is the three prayers, the three davenings that we have, the three tefillos that we have every day, with the Shachis, Mincha, and Marav, and Musaf on Shabbos, Yontiv. And then we're going to have in this Masechta the laws of Birkas HaNehanan, which is brachos that we recite on food. And then the brachos on Hoidah v'Shvach, on praising Hashem, something that happened, or getting out of a bad situation, all the stuff like that, which is going to be discussed at the end of the Masechta, the end of this Masechta's brachos. Okay, now we're going to go, what is this first chapter, the first parak of brachos? What is the first parak of brachos going to talk about? Three things. One, the time of Shema in the evening and the morning, the way to say the Shema, the brachos before the Shema and after the Shema, and also another special mitzvah that we have every day, which is mentioning of Zechiras Yitzias Mitzrayim, the mitzvah to remember that we went out of Mitzrayim. That's a mitzvah for itself, which is in the Shema, or in the blessing after the Shema, we'll see. Okay, so, let's start the Mishnah. So, this Mishnah is going to jump right into talking about when is the times to read the Shema. So this Mishnah, which is the Gemara is going to discuss, but we already know that there's a mitzvah to recite the Shema. So from the Torah, there's a mitzvah to say the Shema in the morning and in the evening. And the Mishnah starts off with the Shema of the evening. Me'emasai koirin as Shema ba'arvin. From when do we read the Shema in the evening? So we have the mitzvah of Shema in the evening, but what does evening mean? The whole evening, and when does evening start? And until when can we read the Shema in the evening? So the first part of the Mishnah is going to talk about from when can we recite the Shema of the evening. When does this evening start for Shema? Gemara and the Mishnah answers, Misha Shak Yahanim Nichnasim Le'echoil Bitrumasam, from the time that the Kehanim that were Toma, that were impure, and they went to the mikveh, and go and eat the truma, So, which actually means Tseisa Kechavim, which means 3 stars. So basically, when can we start to read the Shema in the evening? When evening starts, when night starts. To be more specific, when night starts, which is, we go by 3 stars. There is a reason why 3 stars. I'm not going to explain it now, but when they 3 stars, so basically we could start reading the Shema when night starts. So why does the Mishnah say we could read the Shema from when the Kehanim? First, let's explain a second, what does that mean when Kohanim eat the Truma? So, Kohanim have a special mitzvah, a special thing that they're able to eat Truma. Truma is a holy food that the non-Kohanim separate and give to the Kohanim. What do you mean? They could they could always eat it. If they can eat it, they can always eat it. No, this is talking about in a case where they were impure. They have to eat it in a pure state because truma is holy. This is talking about when they were impure. So what do they do if they're impure? They have to go to the mikveh and also wait for night to come. So in the day that they were impure, they go to the mikveh and then they wait till night. And then they can eat the truma. So the Gemara is going to explain why we compare Shema to Kohanim getting pure and eating the truma when night falls, which you can just say, we can start reading the Shema when night falls. There's a reason why we are telling you Shema starts from when Kohanim go eat the truma at night after they were impure. All right. But basically, when can you start to read the Shema? When night falls. I was thinking maybe we can say why we compare Shema to Kohanim eating the truma after they were impure when night falls, is that, people are out in the world, they have a day, they come in the evening, they daven mincha and ma'ariv, and we usually say Shema in ma'ariv. So if you daven ma'ariv at night, you for sure fulfill the obligation of that Shema of ma'ariv, even if it's before night, if it's after Shkia. We'll see Rashi in a second. But even after a person the whole day, out in the world, and it's not such a pure world out there, but you come in the evening and you say the Shema that has maybe, I didn't see this anywhere, but maybe it has the power to purify you, just like the Kohanim after they were impure. They go to the mikveh and then they say, and then they eat the truma. So Shema has that power, you accept the yoke of heaven. You say the Shema after a whole day of work, you come to shul. That has a certain effect, like when the Kohanim went and ate the truma. Okay, so let's see Rashi right now. So we finished discussing the first part of the Mishnah, which talks about when you could start reading the Shema. Let's see Rashi. Says Rashi, what does that mean? We're talking about in the case Kohanim that were impure, v'tavlu, and they went to the mikveh, v'harif shimshon, and night came, v'gia itzon lechel b'truma, and the time came to eat the truma. Okay. I'm going to try to keep it within 10 minutes, not more than 10 minutes. Be'ezus Hashem, b'li. Now the second part of the Mishnah. Now the Mishnah is talking about until when can a person read the Shema. 3 opinions. Opinion number 1. Ad soif hoa shmura horishona, until the first watch. Divrei Rabbi Eliezer, these are the words of Rabbi Eliezer. That's opinion number 1, until the first watch. We'll discuss in a second what watch means. Opinion number 2, the Chachamim say you can read the Shema, and everybody seems to be holding that you can read the Shema when night starts. There's no argument on that. The question is until when. Opinion number 2, Chachamim, until midnight, you can read the Shema. Opinion number 3, Rabban Gamliel says, Ad sheyala amud hashacha, until dawn. You can read Shema the whole night until dawn. So these are 3 opinions. So let's go back to the first opinion. Opinion number 1, Ad soifu hashmur rishayin, until the first watch. So the night is divided according to that in 4 parts. What does that mean, watch? Each watch is about 4 hours. If you basically take the night, whether winter, whether it's summer, it's called Shiur Zmanias. That means you divide the night, you take the whole night, whether it's 12 hours, whether it's 10 hours, and you divide it in 12 parts. We need to know that when it comes to davening. We work the hours in a special time called Shiur Zmanios. So you divide it into 12 parts, and then you take 4 hours of that, and then, so it's 4, 4, 4, and 4. So the first 4 hours of that is called a Shmur Rishona, and that's when until you, according to the first opinion, read the Shema. So 4 hours of 12 hours parts, however long the night is. What does that mean, watch? It means that angels, the Malachim, used to switch off saying Shiur, giving praise to Hashem at night. So the first 4 hours is one set of malachim, second another set of malachim, and etc. So opinion number one, at Sefer Shemar Rishonos, says Rashi, Shlish halayla. The night is divided into 3 parts if you say 4 hours. 4, 4, and 4, which is 12 altogether. So the first third of the night, that's the first opinion. Kedem Farsh Gemara. I'm reading Rashi now. At Sefer Shemar Rishonos, Shlish halayla, the third part, the third of the night. Kedem Farsh Gemara, like Gemara explained, Misham ve'elech avar zman. And from here on, you can't say Shema anymore. So according to the first opinion, you could say Shema when night falls until the first watch. Why? What's the meaning in the first opinion? Shema has to be read when you're going to sleep. So according to Rabbi Eliezer, when is a person going to sleep? Within the first third of the night. That's when people are going to sleep. But after the third of the night passed, everybody's already sleeping. So Shema has to be read when people are going to sleep, because we derive it from the pasuk uv'shach b'cha, when you lay down. So the laying time is the first third of the night. Says Rashi, and after the third part of the night, we don't call it going to sleep. And before night, it's also not a time of going to shchiva. That's why, if somebody reads Shema before night falls, you don't fulfill the obligation of Shema at night. So why do we read Shema at Shul? At Shul we a lot of times do Mincha and Ma'ariv together, and we have a Ma'ariv before the 3 stars. So why do we read Shema at all then? What's the point of that Shema? Shema is at night. In order to... So there's a special thing of saying Shema in Ma'ariv, if it's before nightfall, that we don't want to like rush into davening the prayer, which is really the Shemona Esrei. We don't want to rush into it. We want to say something of Torah before that. So we're saying Shema before saying the Shemona Esrei. So we say a little bit Torah before davening. We want to go in from something, from Torah, from something that gladdens your heart. We'll see later in the Gemara about that. And it's from a Brisa in Berochos, but in Rishalmi. That's why there's an obligation to read the Shema again when it gets night. So these people that say Ma'ariv early, the daven Ma'ariv in Shul, which a lot of times before nightfall, should read the Shema again when they come home when it's night. But, so there's a whole discussion about this, but Rashi is saying, the first portion of Shema, which a lot of people say, they don't say all 3 parts of Shema, they just say the first part, Shema and V'ahavta. When you say it right before you go to sleep, with that you fulfill the obligation of reading Shema at night. So there's a discussion about that, but we'll say one more Rashi and then we'll stop, because it's going to be 10 minutes now. The third opinion, which says that you read the Shema until dawn, what is that based on? It says in the pasuk that we derive the law of Shema when you're going to lay down. So, and the first opinion says laying down means the first third part of the night. What does that mean? You could read the Shema until dawn. It says when you lay down. So he says laying down means when people are sleeping, which is from night falls until dawn. The first opinion says that means when people are going to sleep. And the third opinion is when people are sleeping, which is the whole night. Okay, that's it for today. Hope to see you next time. All the best.